Rio Hondo Prep football is one of the best kept secrets in all of Southern California. As one of the smallest enrollments year in and year out, the Kares have won 16 CIF championships and have been one of the most successful programs throughout their history. Welcome to A Charge to Keep, the official podcast of Rio Hondo Prep football. And now, bringing you the latest news and content from his alma mater, a CIF champion in 2001, from the class of 2003, here's your host, Matt Hersema.
What is up, Rio Hondo Prep fans? It is a special edition of the Charge to Keep podcast here in early February. It has been a few months, about almost 2 months, a month and a half or so since that legendary football season we just went through back in 2024. It seems like so long ago, but we have moved on and played other sports at Rio Hondo Prep, as is the case every single year. And it has been an interesting winter, we will say, for many different reasons. But today, in this special edition of the Charge to Keep podcast, we are here specifically to talk about, a couple of sports at Rio Hondo Prep. Originally, I was planning to just talk about girls basketball and the playoff selection and their playoff hopeful run here in the next few weeks, as we've done each of the past couple of seasons. 2 years ago, we had assistant coach Tiffany Horton on. Last year, I believe we had Cindy Diaz and Emma Carson on. And today, we're going to hear from another member of the RHP girls basketball program. We're going to be joined later in the show, but with Tara Riley, who's a junior on this team at Rio Hondo Prep, and she's someone I've wanted to chat with here on the show quite a while, because she's someone that is just an exceptional athlete on the girls' side of things there at Rio Hondo Prep, and she's one of those girls, from what I can gather, that pretty much everything she does well. She's a great basketball player, again, a volleyball player, softball player. And then on top of all that, she is also on the cheerleading squad this last year with the football program and everything. So she really does do it all. And that's kind of synonymous really with Rio Hondo Prep athletes and student athletes, I should say. I'm sure she does stuff in either the music department and obviously the classroom and things too. So we'll learn a little bit about her today. Definitely, the star player, the best player on the girls basketball team, and that's not to take anything away from anybody else, but she's been there for a couple of years now as a sophomore on last year's team that went to the playoffs. Again, someone that was a big-time contributor, top scorer type of person. So she'll be joining us here later in the show, just, again, talk about her and how excited she is about the program. And it's fun to get to learn about these student athletes, right? I got to get to talk to mostly all the football players throughout the season. And people often ask me, like, how come there's no basketball season show or baseball season? And I'm just like, look, this podcast is dedicated to Rio football. But as I've mentioned many times, we are going to applaud and recognize the teams that advance into the playoffs, to give the fan base out there, the alumni, a little sense of pride, right, in what's going on. So that's what we're doing today, talking girls basketball. The brackets came out yesterday. The Kares are placed in Division 3A, which is kind of surprising to me. I believe there's, 11 divisions in the southern section basketball, the open division, and then I think 1AA, 1A, and so on. So Rio Hondo, man, with their enrollment and everything, some reason up in Division 3A, and they'll be traveling to El Rancho High School, not too far down there in Pico Rivera, which was kind of similar to last year's game, if you think about it. Down there, they played at Lucerna High School, not too far from there, over in kind of Whittier. So a short trip, another good team they're facing, and we'll get to all that in a second. But the other breaking news that occurred yesterday was, again, something that I didn't expect. I had asked kind of some coaches regarding this, if it was possible. And wouldn't you know it, a little bit of school history was made yesterday as the brackets were released for boys soccer. And if you asked me years ago if I'd be talking any type of soccer on this podcast, well, I would have thought you were crazy. But we have to give credit where credit is due. People who know me know I'm not a huge soccer guy by any means. But that being said, I applaud any Rio Hondo athletic achievements out there. And a lot of the guys that played on the football team for Rio Hondo Prep this year, a lot of those guys are on the soccer team that has officially been the first team in Rio Hondo history, first soccer team to achieve the playoffs. So very, 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 very big news there. I mean, I remember when soccer started at Rio Hondo, I was let's see. I think I was a senior. I think I was a senior, may have been a junior, but I'm pretty sure I was a senior. And they said, we're going to add soccer. No, no, no. It wasn't. I was like a sophomore because I remember some of the seniors who played. That's right. I was like a sophomore. And so it was a big deal to be like, well, we're adding a sport. And, there's only so many spots in basketball. So it gave guys a chance to get out there and play. And it was only JV soccer for quite some time, I think. And then eventually Rio made the move to varsity. I don't know if there's a JV team also that I should know that, but shame on me for that. But anyway, yes, the boys soccer program, they will be hosting Loma Linda Academy on Thursday. I believe they play on campus at Kare. Well, I'll have to double check that. Let's send out a text right now to head coach AJ Corsini, who I asked about his team. Just, hey, give me some information. And I had already kind of promoted the fact that Tara Riley was going to be on the show today, so I didn't really consider bringing anybody else on. If you guys are like, well, how come there's no soccer player on? Remember, trying to balance all this out and doing it in a timely manner. Happy Super Bowl Sunday, by the way. I forgot to mention that as trying to do this real quick before the Super Bowl and everything here, festivities. So hopefully this is something that you guys will enjoy. Alongside the Super Bowl preparations, if you guys kind of get worn out by all the buildup and everything. But let's send AJ a text here. Is home game at Care Park or Irwindale or Care Park? I should know these things. Now that I think about it, maybe their home games are at Care Park because as far as seating and all that, and there are lights there, right? We play football there. So, again, my apologies, guys, for not having that information. But anyway, Thursday, I don't know the game time either. Let me see. Let's find that out also. I threw this together all randomly last minute. But while we're talking about the soccer program, the game is Thursday. Not sure if it's afternoon or not. It is a home game. The girls are playing Thursday also, and it is a away game at night. I believe 7 o'clock start there. So in a perfect world, maybe the soccer game starts a little early. I don't know if it's 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it is. But if the planets aligned and the game was an earlier start, man, what an opportunity! Double dip, go see the soccer playoff game. Hustle down the 605 to go see the girls in the basketball game. I'm certain that there will be some people who will in fact be doing that, as I know the Rio Hondo faithful. And remember last spring, it was kind of that spring sports special we did where I think it was boys volleyball, baseball, and softball all had playoff games on campus at Rio at the same time. So that was really cool. I'm glad we got to bring on, three different kids and talk to them about the experience there and all that. So I believe that was a Diego Householder, Avery Pollock, and a baseball player. Diego was baseball. Oh, Landry Johnson. So that was a fun time last year. Talking to those guys, and again, we'll hear from Tara Riley today here in a few minutes or so when she gets done with some things she's going on. But before we talk to her, let's talk briefly about something that Coach AJ Corsini said about his soccer team. And if you know what, Coach AJ, that D-line coach, right, that fiery guy there coaching JV football as well. He's a guy that I think is perfect for soccer. Just, hey, get out there. Let's have our guys play tough and fast and loose and. It's just there's other guys I'm sure that could contribute, but AJ out there doing his thing is always fun to watch. So let's see. I asked Coach AJ, tell me a little bit about your team. He says tactically we're a counter-attacking attack. So again, some of the stuff I'm not sure about what it all means. I just kind of hear these terms in sports. So he says that again, I'm relaying some information here. He says they're a physical, athletic, defensive team. Of that, I have no doubt. Again, a bunch of football players out there as well going to play. Our top scorers are Diego Householder and Easton Jara. Easton is our best player. He's very good. Dom Zazueta, excuse me if I misspoke on that. Dom, skilled holding player. I'm again not sure exactly what that means, but sounds kind of like maybe defensively or things of that nature. Again, I was not prepared to ever talk soccer here on my podcast or anything. So just communicating here, relaying information. Noah Peninari, Adrian Mendoza are best defenders. Marco Chan, who we saw the great kicking game in football. He's our best back. Ivan Tkach, water polo man. You know what? I had a feeling he'd be on the soccer team, and he's a goaltender. Do you say goaltender in soccer? I know you say it in hockey. And I was at the Kings game last night and lost to those Ducks in overtime. Oh my goodness, what a disappointing game. But anyway, Yeah, so Ivan Tkach again, going to play college water polo. He's a goalie on this team. So this team is a group of guys that are in shape. They play hard. They play physical. They play with great energy. They say they keep it up shape defensively, and we work together. We try to muck it up. So if I was a soccer coach, which I was back in the day at one point, I think junior high, and didn't know much, but was, just saying play hard, play fast, and let's out tire them. It's I don't know if there's a lot of yellow cards with this team or not. I got to imagine that the way soccer is with kind of if you sneeze on someone, I mean they bring out a stretcher or whatever. But hey, what do I know? But to our boys out there, man, go out there, make us proud a soccer home playoff game, which I think is just really really cool. Let me see as I have their stats up here, or I should say their schedule. Our soccer program 10-5 on the season, 4-5 in the league, and I was looking at the soccer games as well as the basketball games, and it was interesting to me that it seemed like it wasn't as many games. I thought you'd be in the mid 20s really with some of these games, but looking at some of their scores here, prep league was tough. They went 4-5 in prep league. Looks like soccer similar to okay. We have updated on Max Preps here. It says 3 o'clock. Loma Linda Academy. One says one says Wednesday the 12th, the other says Thursday the 13th. So we'll try to clarify all that, guys. Keep your eyes peeled on social media and all those things. But let's see who were their prep league wins. Looks like Providence 6-1, big win there. At some point in the season, Providence also 7-3. So two big wins over Providence there in the prep league, I believe that is. Those the Cares were able to score some goals in some of these games actually a couple of times. It looks like with a lot of their losses, they couldn't quite get on the scoreboard. A lot of losses, with no goals or one goal. So looks like if the Cares can get some momentum here and get on the scoreboard, that maybe their defensive play will lead to some success. But very proud of those guys. They finished fourth in the prep league again, a 4-5 record, 10-5 overall. So they are an at-large team, and I think it's pretty neat when you look at the bracket and everything that they did in fact get a home game. So that's really really cool. And again, we will try to communicate all that stuff to you guys through social media when exactly the game is. And, again, truth be told, it wasn't something I was prepared to talk about necessarily. But when the brackets came out yesterday, it was like, oh, man, the Cares, first time in school history going to the playoffs in soccer. So just a lot of things to be excited about. And it really is a testament. No matter what the sport is, man, when you turn around, when you play a very long football season, you play a nine games in the regular season, 4 Southern Section playoff games, and then 2 state games in football that you turn right around and you're able to have success in some other field of athletics. So I know the boys basketball program was a little disappointing this year, of course, but again, when you get that deep into the playoffs in one sport, I think other sports will suffer. And again, it's a testament really to the overall athletic achievements and athletic program of Rio Hondo Prep, and just the way that they're able to do things and the way they're able to just compete, man, just compete. And I was proud of the boys basketball program. I looked at some of the scores. There was a time, when Rio, oh my goodness, we'd lose by like 40 to Pauley or stuff like that. And to see our boys playing tight with Pauley, playing tight with Flint Ridge, that does my heart good as a former I know you wouldn't know it, but basketball guy. Our class was big basketball guys, and so really cool to see the competition there. And you know what? It's just kind of the nature of the beast when you make those great football playoff runs. That basketball, you get a little slower start. And congrats to my former teammate, Devin Doncic, being traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the LA Lakers. Pretty cool stuff there. As I mentioned to you, my little buddy Devin Drain, reminds me so much of Luka Doncic, or maybe Luka reminds me of him, especially all the yelling at the referees thing. But hey, I won't tease you too much there, Devo. Love you, man. Hope all is well. And we'll again get back to the focus of our podcast here. But I want to look briefly at some of the stats for the Rio Hondo Prep girls basketball program now, as stats is a little easier thing to go with there. And we mentioned kind of some of the stats that Coach AJ mentioned to us on the soccer program. And before we move on, let's look at that. Diego Householder, 1.8 goals per game. Where is just your overall player stats? Let's look at that. So goals. Wow, Diego Householder, 22 goals on the season. Is that right? Let me see. Goals, yeah. Easton Jara, 11 goals on the season. So Diego, top scorer on this team, looks like Devin Gomez, 6 goals. Yannick Diaz looks like got 3 goals in there. And then, as I mentioned, uh, man, I'm messing up his name again. Zazueta. My apologies there on that, Dominic. Hopefully, I didn't butcher it too bad. But yeah, as I mentioned, some great stats there. Let me see if there's any more stats in here that I would understand. Easton Jara, again, 20 assists. Man, that's pretty awesome. That's an impressive stat there. Just spreading the ball around, making some plays there. And then what about any other stats? I was going to see if there was something with saves or anything. But anyway, I'm not the biggest again soccer guy in the world. So let's look at Ivan Tkach on here. 21 saves on. Maybe that's something else. Anyway, we'll move on from the soccer stuff, but some good numbers there from our boys. Again, who a lot of them were on that football team or in some form or another. But we wish them well, and I hope again you guys can get out to the soccer game. And hey, let's take advantage of that first home game. I remember that's what it was. We started soccer, I think my sophomore year, and it was all away games, JV games, and then I think my senior year started playing home games at Kare Field. And so I remember we were jokingly saying, "Man, we're gonna win the first game. We're gonna tear down the goalpost, or tear down the goals like they do the goalposts or whatever." And I'm not sure we won that game, but that was kind of the jokingly the plan and everything. So anyway, enough of the soccer. Congrats to the boys out there. They're in Division 8, which is the smallest division, I believe, in the Southern Section playoffs. So we wish them nothing but the best, and we'll be cheering them on, man. Let's see. Hey, good defense, good tough play. Get some goals in there too. Again, hey, anytime Rio Hondo's competing, man, I'm all in. So let's now move on to the girls basketball team. As I mentioned, some of their success. They are 11-5, 7-2 in the prep league, which is good for third place because I think it's Flint Ridge and maybe was it Pauley? I'll look it up right now. But a couple of juggernauts there that just really, really, really tough teams. And we'll look at some of the prep league scores here in a minute too. But as far as points per game, as I mentioned, Tara Riley, 17 and a half points per game, leads the team there as far as scoring goes, 51% from the field. So she gets a lot of points in the paint, which is great. Madison Burrell leads the team here in rebounding with 7.9 boards a game. Of course, Madison's brother Zach on the football team. You recognize. I love the family crossover, right? When you got boys and girls, kind of the families there getting to watch the multiple sports. I think that's really, really cool. Madison did a great job cheerleading as well there throughout the season. Tara, as you're going to hear from today, she's just all over the stat sheet here. Steals per game 5.1. Let's see, 73% free throw shooter. Tara Riley, two assists a game. Leah Rodriguez, a freshman on this team, and Ali Scott, a junior, both contributing in the assist game. And I want to mention two other rebounders who kind of lead this team in boards is Jana Tafflinger with 5.6. She's a junior on the team, and Leah Rodriguez, as I mentioned, another freshman. Something I haven't mentioned to my knowledge yet today is that this team, I hope this is correct, but it does look to me like this team is compiled of all juniors and freshmen, which is very, very unique. I was like, did a double take on that. I said, okay, Tara's a junior, Tafflinger, she's a junior, Ali Scott Jr., Ebony Ortega, who does a great job on defense, making steals. I remember seeing that last year. Yeah, a junior kind of led team, and then you throw in some freshmen as well. Let's see this team. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 juniors, and is that right? 4 freshmen on this team. Wow, that is impressive to see that 4 freshmen are playing varsity and will be having a great career, I'm sure, here for the Rio Hondo Prep Lady Cares. I will list off some of their, since the roster's so small, we might as well list them all off. Zoe Chen, a freshman, looks like, I'm assuming a guard type of player, contributes greatly. Everyone on here contributes in some form or fashion, whether it's on the defensive end, whether it's the offensive end. Very team oriented program here, or team, I should say, with this group. So Zoe Chen, as I mentioned, a freshman. Janet Tafflinger, a junior on this team. Ali Scott, a junior. Ebony Ortega, a junior. Madison Burrell, a junior. Leah Rodriguez, who I mentioned, a freshman. Looks like, That's 4 points a game. She's a contributor offensively, but I'm sure does a lot of things, that may not show up on the stats sheet as well. Another one of those top rebounders, as we mentioned. Let's see here. Bryce Johnson is a freshman on this team as well. More of a, let's see, looks to specialize maybe in some 3-point shooting. Or do I have that wrong? Let's see. Bryce, points per game, six. Everyone in here is kind of like 6 points per game, 5 points per game, kind of in there. A lot of different contributors. And then, of course, there's Tara with 17 and a half. So it's kind of like Tara leads the way, of course. And then other contributors, whether it's fast breaks or whatever the case is, just different ways to contribute on this team, which is really, really cool. I'm not sure. I could be wrong here. Bryce Johnson, I believe that's daughter of Dr. Marcia and Randy Johnson and Landry Johnson's sister. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the youngest of the Johnson kids there. Again, the great name at Rio Hondo Prep. Another freshman, Caitlin Dang, it contributes to this team. Again, you're fourth of the 4 freshman phenoms, we'll call them, which is really, really cool. And then, of course, of Tara Riley, as we mentioned there. So I'm going to let Tara maybe talk to us about the team, the program. We put so much, again, effort and energy into the boys football program. And we do a little things here and there. We'll talk with the cheerleaders. We'll talk with the, Sam Montez with the homecoming queen and things. So it's nice to get kind of the ladies' perspective and give them some attention here on the Charts to Keep podcast, because again, they're doing great things. These girls, any of the women now who've gone through RHP, and you look back, you can kind of think back to your days of kind of doing it all, right? Doing the basketball thing and then changing real quick to either jump in the band or be a cheerleader, and of course all the different academic things that go on at Rio. So a good group of girls here. Haven't had a chance to see them play in person. I did remember seeing them in the playoffs last year. Most of these juniors were on that team last season. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting out to this game myself in person on Thursday night down in Pico Rivera at El Rancho. They're up against a tough team. I'll say that. El Rancho is 20-8. And so the fact that they've played, man, what is that? 28 games versus our 16 games. I don't know how that worked, or if we just didn't play a ton of tournaments and things like that. I'm not totally sure, but 7 o'clock at El Rancho High School. El Rancho, as I mentioned, 20-8 on the season. As far as Rio in the prep league, their only losses were to Flint Ridge Prep, the last game of the season. And I think that maybe they don't play every team twice. So Rio losing to Poly and Flint Ridge, kind of some tough losses there, were their 2 only losses in prep league play. And then again, I'm not sure why they only played 16 games. Maybe that's wrong on Max Preps, but El Rancho 20-8. As I mentioned, a team that is very well-rounded. I talked to someone I know who's kind of affiliated with the school, and he's pretty confident that they're going to be a tough test for Rio Hondo. And they were 4-4 in the Del Rio League, which was good for 4th place. Before you kind of scoff maybe at that, 4 of their 8 losses, right, were in the Del Rio League. And just to kind of paint a picture for you, as far as last year playing Lucerna, it's the same league as Lucerna. So some of the teams in the Del Rio League: Santa Fe, Cal High School, Lucerna, El Rancho, and Whittier. So a tough league, and we kind of saw that last year with Lucerna down there in Whittier when we played that game. The Kares were in it; they were kind of back and forth, but unfortunately did end up losing that game, despite some great contributions from a senior class last year that went out in style, playing hard and representing Rio Hondo Prep very, very well. So tough test, very tough test for the Kares on Thursday night. But you know what? In a lot of ways, what do I always say? In football season, you wouldn't have it any other way, man. You wouldn't have it any other way. Maybe someone overlooks you. Hey, you guys are just a team, a young team of juniors and freshmen. You're not supposed to do anything great. All right, well, let's tip this ball off and see what happens. I have no doubt the Rio Hondo faithful will be there in full support of our young ladies there at El Rancho High School. So we're going to bring the energy, and that's part of why we're doing the podcast here. We're going to bring some energy down to El Rancho High School, and we're going to see what happens. Again, it's an interesting game, the game of hoops, right? Hoops on the hardwood. Ball bounces, takes different bounces for you. You never know. Someone could get in foul trouble. Weird things happen in playoff basketball. So we hope we get another great effort from the girls like we saw in last year's playoff game. And so just very, very excited about that, as well as the boys soccer program. What a Thursday it will be here after the Super Bowl. I mean, if you're a little down because the football season is over, then man, you gotta be thrilled that, hey, there's some sports options out there, just to especially Rio Hondo related. So hopefully you guys will tune into this. I don't know, again, if it'll be on the NFHS network. I'm gonna do everything in my power to put out information as far as that goes on social media and things. I do know the football banquet is officially now on Sunday, Sunday the 23rd. I will post some information on that again on social media. Keep your eyes peeled for that. Week 0 for the football season. We're working on the schedule still. We'll try to get information out to you guys very soon about that. But the Cares will be opening the season against Sure High School, who again a very consistent, steady program out here in the where is that? Is it Whittier? I think it's off the 60th. I don't know. I think that's officially Whittier. It's Montebello, excuse me. So, but a new coach for their team, and again, it should be interesting going forward. It's many months from now, but we got girls basketball and soccer playoffs before all that, and then of course spring sports, baseball, softball, and boys volleyball. So a lot of things before we kind of get going with football season again. But as last year you saw, we will in fact get going. Probably around June with just behind the scenes stuff and the build up right after graduation to the 2025 football season. So, but first things first, Rio basketball, Rio soccer, and the great teams that are going to go represent us out here in the Southern Section playoffs. I will now take a break. Wait for Tara Riley to join us, and it should be a fun conversation hearing from her about her experiences at Rio Hondo Prep and kind of what she thinks about her team and the playoffs going forward, and yeah, just getting a chance to hear from the female perspective, the female side of things from our great students at Rio Hondo Prep. All right. Joining us next will be junior basketball, volleyball, softball player, junior Tara Riley, who again has had a great career already and more big things to come. Up next, my interview with Tara Riley. All right, as promised, we are now joined by junior Tara Riley, who has been on varsity for 3 years now, starting her freshman year in multiple sports. She's joining us on Super Bowl Sunday. But Tara, there's another big game here in a couple of days as you guys go in the playoffs down to El Rancho High School on Thursday. How you feeling about the playoffs here on Super Bowl Sunday?
I'm so excited. I think it's going to be a really good game for sure. I've already checked them out. As you know, I like to dive deep and look into what we're getting into. So I've heard they are definitely beatable. So our coaches are preparing us.
I like that. I like that. A lot of people are beatable if you look at it kind of from the right perspective. And I know you got a great coach, Joe Parker, there, who is always has you guys ready. The first time I saw you play Tara was last year in the first round of the playoffs at Lucerna. A very tough game. You guys were right there with them, and they pulled away towards the end. But I don't know. It seems like a similar matchup this year. A team with 20 wins from the same league. I don't know. Do you think last year's playoff experience maybe prepared you guys a little bit for kind of what you're seeing this Thursday?
I hope it does. I mean, Miss Horton said that the team we're playing Thursday, is really similar to Lucerna, and they actually played each other in their season. So if we get the film for that, we'll have a really good idea of what we're up against.
No, absolutely. And if you could talk to me about Coach Parker and Mrs. Horton, the different coaches on the team there, and kind of how is it? What is it they do exactly to kind of get you guys going, to motivate you guys? Do they push you pretty hard throughout the week or the whole season? Kind of talk to me about your coaches.
Well, they're very different. I'll say that. Mr. Parker is very quiet, timid person outside of sports, but once he gets into basketball and softball, he's very like go-getter, and he will get on the people that like he can really see the most with. So that's Mr. Parker. And Miss Horton is just, man, an all-around encourager, and she's always like speaking highly of people. And I just love watching her coach because she's always has like something encouraging to say to all of us. and she never backs down.
One observation with girls sports to me versus the guy sports is there is that constant encouragement. It's not to say that guys don't encourage each other, but with girls, especially the coaching staff and you see it in volleyball a lot. I mean, something
Yeah,
goes wrong and you guys turn right around, start high-fiving each other and just encouraging each other. It's like, I don't know that you see it in guy sports, but you see this positive encouragement and feedback a lot more in girls sports. Would you say that's accurate?
very. Yes.
I think it's a good thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just to me a little difference maybe in it. Well, it sounds like you got a great coaching staff. If you could talk to me about some of your teammates, as I said earlier, it's a junior and freshman only team, not necessarily by design. I'm assuming you're one of the captains on this squad and leading scorer for sure. But you have some really good teammates, classmates in your junior class, and some up and coming freshmen as well.
Yes, we do. They are all very unique, I will say. Like, no one person is the same on this team.
Well, very much so. And, Madison Burrow comes to mind, Jana Tafflinger, some juniors that kind of do the dirty work, if you would. As far as scoring goes, you do the bulk of it, but everyone kind of contributes in their own little way here. 5 points here, 6 points there. And it's kind of like drop by drop fills the cup. And sounds like you really enjoy playing with some of your teammate, Evany Ortega. She's, out there on the defensive side of things. A lot of different contributors with your classmates specifically.
Yes, I will say we all do different things to help out during games. Like, there's always one person that's on point with the passing or one person that's on point with the shooting. And it's really fun to see when the freshmen are hyped up during a game because, man, they go crazy. One game that comes to mind is during our Mayfield game away. Bryce Johnson, she had an amazing game. I don't know if you watched it or you were there, but she had 18 points, and man, she could not be stopped. But then there's times where Leah will have a good game, or Zoe with like her passing and her driving to the basket. So I'm so proud of them.
What would you say sums up this team? Is it a toughness? Is it teamwork? If you could, I mean, it's again a young group. You've been on varsity a few years now, but you got these freshmen that are playing too. That heck, they were in junior high last year, and I don't know. Is it an energetic thing? Is it just if you had to sum up kind of the strengths of your team in general, just kind of what it's like playing for the 2025 Rio Hondo Prep girls basketball team?
I would say that we just want to play for each other and we want to play for God. And I think seeing that on the court, like, you can't beat it because when we're all out there, it's like we're not playing selfishly. None of us are playing for the points or, to look good on the court. We're playing to win, essentially, but we're also playing for each other. That's a big thing.
Well, that's very well said, and it's kind of one of those consistent things at Rio. No matter the sport, no matter boys or girls, it's definitely there all the time. So yeah, we look forward to you guys playing Thursday night. We are hoping to get as many Kare faithful down there to see you guys play. If you could, you mentioned it a little bit as far as Rio Hondo Prep goes and playing for God and kind of the theme. You're a junior now. You've been playing ball for quite some time, and you do it all there: volleyball, softball, cheerleading. What is kind of the Rio Hondo Prep experience been for you, Tara? Because so many people maybe look at Rio like, yeah, that school's kind of weird or different or whatever. And I'm always kind of talking to the students and being like, hey, tell me about what it's like for you as a teenager being at Rio Hondo Prep. Because for me, it was the best of times way back when. But what's it like for you on a daily basis at Rio Hondo Prep?
Oh, man, it's unbeatable, honestly. Like, you really can't get like the experience you get here. And for me to be like in the center of it all with sports and coaching and school, it's really, it warms you inside. Like, every single day that I come here, like walking past all the trees in the front yard and then seeing everybody that I've known since like third grade, like, it's an unreal experience to be having.
It sounds like it feels like home in a sense that you've been there
Yes.
since third grade, Care Youth League, coming up through that, and you're not at the end yet, but yeah, it's unlike anything else out there, really. And I don't know, you don't ever get overwhelmed by having to play all the different sports and the classroom stuff, cheerleading. I don't know if you're in the music or drama department, but there's so much going on at Rio. Does it ever wear you out, or you kind of wouldn't have it any other way?
I really wouldn't have it any other way. And you really do get used to it. Like at first, like freshman year, I was so overwhelmed with school and coaching and sports, but honestly, like it's become something that like has been a daily routine for me. So, coming on the off days on the weekends, like it's pretty much your whole life. So you learn to get used to it.
Yeah, and it was interesting talking to you yesterday, kind of trying to set this up, and it was like you're trying to make it happen Saturday maybe, and you're like, "Well, I got a lot of coaching and refing to do," and I was like, "I get that because I used to be the same way, be down, you coaching multiple teams, you're refing multiple games, so yeah, it's not too, that's pretty wild that again on Saturdays you're doing stuff like that, and I don't know, pretty fun way to spend your time, challenging, I'm sure, but yeah, just contributing to Care Youth League on Saturdays.
Um, yeah, it's honestly, I really do like it. Like coaching in my girls, it's one of the things that, sometimes you love, sometimes you hate, but honestly, you have to do it in the end. So
Yeah, they're great. When your kids, your girls or boys, whatever, come see you play. Have they been to come see you play volleyball or basketball or anything?
some of them have, yes. I remember for homecoming, they all like make the girls posters and stuff. So they showed up for me then too. So it's fun to see.
Is it pretty? That's pretty cool. And does it take you back at all to maybe when you were in care and looking up to the high school girls and such?
Yes, it really does. It's so crazy to see how much has changed since then.
Yeah, it's time flies as I'm sure you're well aware, and it's yeah, it's a cycle really. You're that kid in care looking up to high school, then you're in high school, and and so it goes. So, what about after high school, Tara? I know you got a full senior year left as well as this junior year, but you're someone that seems maybe would want to play sports in college, or maybe I don't know what you want to study in college. You still got time, but any thoughts on after Rio Hondo prep?
Yes, lots of thoughts actually. I've been thinking about college since freshman year. It's always something that's been on my mind. Playing in college, that's something that's recently been talked to me about, and I'm still not really sure if I want to play. I don't even know what I would want to play, basketball or volleyball, but there have been some colleges that I've got my eye on for sure. So I'm excited to see if I can really even play up to a collegiate level for sports.
Well, I'm sure you can. Just watching for as an outsider, but again, a lot to do before all that. And if you don't, that's great too. Just college is a challenge enough. But we wish you nothing but the best. You're having a great athletic career at Rio. We mentioned the various sports you play, but something you also do. We mentioned is cheerleading, and not all the girls cheerlead at Rio, but a lot of them do. And I don't know. There's something to be said for the girls. It's again unlike other schools where you play multiple sports and then you're also cheerleading. So you've been a cheerleader the past couple seasons, I'll say football seasons, where the boys have won CIF championships. What's that been like being a cheerleader and out there on Friday nights for all those games?
And again, it's unbeatable. Like the just feeling of like the cheering and then like losing your voice the next day and going to eat at In-N-Out after, like you honestly can't eat the feeling.
No, no, not at all. And I mean, I don't know much about cheerleading. I've talked to Georgette Mora and Alyssa, and they're the captains a little bit during the season and everything. But you guys seem like you have a really good time, not just being there, but like you guys are really you're performing at halftime, throwing the gum to the fans and all that. But you guys just seem to be really enjoying yourself on Friday nights, whether it's really hot early in the season or really cold late in the season.
Yes, we definitely don't as much enjoy it during the weekdays, practicing and having to come to the dance room after school and after sports and stuff. But it really does pay off on Friday because we get to perform for everyone in the stands and for the guys. So
Coach Darcy pushing you guys hard, huh?
you could say that.
That is great. Well, you guys have done a great job. I don't know if you're going to continue it next year, but I will say you've been cheerleading the past. Hey, two championships for the. I think the cheerleaders have a great contribution to that. So we shouldn't break up the band, if you will. Keep things going. Maybe the boys will get another championship. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think I might have to stick around to see what happens.
Very cool. What about Rio? We talked a little bit about the experience. What else do you do there at Rio? I know you take classes and things, but do you have any favorite classes or kind of what do you do in like the arts department, drama, music, or anything like that?
Well, I was in choir this year, so I was in the choir performance, and it's so much fun. I love choir. I've been doing it 3 years now, so it's such a fun time in that class. But a favorite class, I would probably have to say government politics with Miss Shelton because she's such a fun time and I love the way she teaches. So she's definitely one up there, one of the top.
Oh, that's really cool. Very nice to hear. Always cool to hear about the teachers and the favorites and stuff. Yeah, Miss Shelton and Mrs. Joe, man, coaching choir, or teaching choir, I should say. She's like a coach though, really. She can be intense out there. So fun fun stuff. Good people. Good nice people to mention there. What about sports for you? Do you watch sports at all? Do you have any favorite I don't know, men's or women's basketball players, favorite teams or anything like that in other sports?
Not really, but I do enjoy watching sports in general. Like I like watching the men's and women's volleyball, basketball, and sometimes a little bit of football. Not too crazy about it, but I'll watch some.
Well, there's a big game today, as they say, the Super Bowl. Though a lot of people probably listen to this afterwards. Do you have a pick? Do you have a pick for the game? Eagles Chiefs. What do you think?
Honestly, I really couldn't tell you. I don't want to offend anyone if I say something wrong.
Okay, no, no worries. What you got any plans for the game? Just with family or anything?
Yeah, just my family.
Oh, that's good stuff. Same here. That's Super Sunday, always a good time. And if you could also, Tara, what about outside of school, outside of sports? What other hobbies you like to do? Things, maybe with friends or whatever. Anything of that nature?
Anything with my friends. I love my friends so much. I will literally lay in bed with them and do nothing. That's one of my hobbies that I do. I also do. I also like thrifting. Definitely. That's a little bit of a trend recently, but I've been loving to do it like since before I was a freshman. So
Okay.
strong.
Talk to me. What is that exactly? I'm a little naive to
Um,
that.
well, it's have you heard of like Savers, Goodwill, anywhere
Okay.
like vintage stuff, like just going and browsing everything they have there because honestly you really don't know what you can find. And sometimes you really can find like really good um modern clothes for half the price.
Okay, hidden gems. I see. Wheeling
Yeah,
and dealing. Okay. I like it. I like it. That's really cool. Well, Tara, this has been fun. I enjoyed talking with you, getting to know you a little bit, as I'm sure our fans would. If you could, final thoughts. Big game Thursday. You got 3 days of practices. The boys soccer team we mentioned earlier, they're in the playoffs too. I guess that game is now Wednesday. You guys are Thursday, so
yeah,
kind of an exciting week for Rio Hondo Prep Sports.
very exciting. I hope everyone who watches this is gonna go and go support soccer and us and be really loud.
Oh yeah. Hey, the boy. I know the boys will be there. They got plenty of energy, worked up for you guys for your games, and yeah, let's get a dub and maybe a home game after. So excited for the opportunity, you guys. Good luck to you, Tara. It should be a lot of fun. Thursday night, Real Hondo Prep girls basketball in the playoffs at Lacerna High School. Thank you so much, Tara Riley, for joining me today. It has been a blast, and good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Well, an absolute pleasure chatting with Tara Riley, a junior captain for the Rio Hondo girls basketball team that is playoff bound and will be headed to El Rancho High School Thursday night down in Pico Rivera. Not too far at all. So we hope that everyone listening to this, maybe if you haven't been out to some games this season, hey, stop on by, go see the Cares compete in the postseason. Always a fun opportunity. And I just received word from Coach AJ Corsini that the soccer game will in fact be Wednesday at 3 p.m. at Kare Park in Irwindale. So a matinee, if you will, a day game there for the soccer team. I don't know if they charge or anything like that. I do know for the girls basketball team, they will be charging. So again, we'll try to get you information out about those things and stop by for a little piece of history on Wednesday afternoon to see the Cares for the first time in the Southern Section playoffs. And of course, be sure to get down to Pico Rivera Thursday night for the Rio Hondo Prep girls basketball program. Let's make some noise. Let's get behind them and support them and see what can happen, man. Basketball is a fun sport to be at in person. Just the excitement, the energy, the back and forth. It's rather chaotic at times, but a lot of fun. It has been a joy to be on the program with you guys today. A special edition of the Charge to Keep podcast on Super Bowl Sunday. It is about noon here, so I got to get going. Got to get the burgers going and other things of that nature. And put this podcast out, of course. And I'm sure most of you will wait till after the Super Bowl. But it's Super Bowl Sunday, a little bittersweet in the end of football season. You're kind of like, oh, we don't have we got 8 months off or whatever it is. But it's been a great football season. Chiefs, Eagles. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I think the Eagles do it. Just sometimes when the team that is supposed to win, just doesn't pull it off. And I know a lot of people out there are probably thinking, oh, the refs. I want to make an argument for the officials right now, as I often do, is the case. Everyone, the narrative is the Chiefs and the Chiefs get all the calls and this and that. And I do agree. There have been some calls that have gone their way. And you're kind of like, man, why do they get every call? Well, my argument would be that over the years, the Chiefs have played the most football. They've been in deep playoff runs. So therefore, there's going to be more of these situations that do turn up, do happen. Much like with the Patriots, they were in the Super Bowl every year. They're making 4 playoff runs and this and that. So teams that are on the field more, there's going to be more controversy, right? More 50-50 plays or whatever. And I'm not to say the officials haven't messed up big time at some of these plays, but the game is hard to officiate. We know that. And I'm not a super huge fan of some of the exploits of Patrick Mahomes kind of trying to draw fouls in this. It's very kind of LeBron-ish if you ask me, but without going into too much of that, I will say that there are a lot of tough plays. And yeah, when people used to think, oh, the Patriots, they got every call. Now the Chiefs, they get every call. And as far as conspiracy theories go, yeah, I just don't buy into it. You don't have to believe me, or you can believe what you want. It's a free country. We can do these things, but I just think it adds to the fuel to the fire. It should be an exciting Super Bowl Sunday. I think the game a couple years ago with the Eagles and the Chiefs, it went down to the wire. I think it'll be more low scoring than people think, and we'll see if Saquon can get going for the Eagles. I bet Hurts has a pretty good game as well. So I think a low scoring game and probably a 2 or 3 point victory for the Chiefs, or excuse me, for the Eagles is kind of what I'm predicting, but I'm usually wrong about these things, which is why I don't make many predictions as well. So, but yeah, hopefully you all enjoy the game. We got some outdoor stuff going here. We're going to get going. And yeah, again, it's the end of football season officially now with the Super Bowl and such. So hope you guys enjoy the game. Better see everyone out there on the soccer game Wednesday and then the basketball game Thursday. We'll have more content for you on social media. We'll try to get you some score updates through there if you can't. And we'll see if again, this happens in the spring, like last year with the baseball, softball, volleyball teams going to the playoffs. We'll have some more content for you there as well. We'll try to keep this thing going. If the girls or the boys keep winning, to keep you guys updated. So stay tuned with the social media and such about just to keep an eye on all things Rio Hondo Prep Athletics here in the near future. So the football banquet is February 23rd. I'll post some information about that from Coach Carson. I believe it's for the families of the varsity and sophomore and JV football players, as well as cheerleaders. I think, I'm not totally sure, but again, we'll get all the information out to you as the cycle continues, right? The circle keeps going. The football season will be here before you know it. But first things first, we got the winter sports, we got the spring sports. Let's compete. Let's see if the Cares can make a run. No matter the sport, no matter the level, let's compete and do great things. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you very, very soon. Not sure when, but maybe if this continues, we'll get some more stuff going. But be sure, again, social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, keep an eye there as we'll put out as much information as possible for the Rio Hondo Prep athletic programs and, of course, everything football related in the very near future. Thanks again, Tara Riley. That was a lot of fun. To the soccer program, good luck. And to the girls basketball team, good luck. We will be there in full support, cheering you guys on every step of the way. But in closing, as always, guys, your friendly reminder with all Rio Hondo Prep athletics to be humble in victory and gracious in defeat, because we always have a charge to keep.
A charge to keep I have, a God to glorify, a never-dying soul to save, and fit it for the sky. Arm me with jealous care, as in thy sight to live. And, O thy servant, Lord, prepare a strict account to give.